Hello, my name is HQ of HQ Reacts. Welcome to my channel. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button, share the stream, and click the notification button for new content.
Hey y'all. This is HQ. I be doing some shit and then I just be at home bored, done with the cooking, seeing as how I'm not cooking, done with my part, seeing as how I baked sweet potato pies, seeing as how I put all of that away. And tomorrow is just another free day, a free day. I don't have nothing to do. I cleared my whole schedule. Cleared the whole schedule until Tuesday of next week. I was like getting on here bored, right? And I was like, was there some news? Was there any kind of news that came out? Political news. Yes, there is political news. Yeah. And come to find out that the shooter in DC is Afghanian, came in here in 2021 under President Biden. I guess on a work visa, and he applied for asylum under the Trump administration last year in December, and they approved his application in April. Now, the vetting or whatever they did, whatever they had to do. So it was what it was, okay? So we have that guy out there. So they found a shooter. He was Afghan. Oh, and somebody said, "Oh, you were wrong for saying that it might be a white guy." I was like, I never said it would be a white guy. I said the probability and possibility that it would be are high. I didn't say it would be. I said those are high. But it is what it is. Question. Somebody said they had a question. Yes, sure. A question. What's the question? All right. Let's see. Yeah, I am gay. I'm gay, I'm straight, I'm all of those things. Gay, straight, the whole nine. Thank you for asking. So anyway, this show is about the Kendra G. The new Kendra G show, right? And this is I guess this might be her new stuff, right? Her new stuff in which she interviews people or she does the interviewing for herself. And we don't know. We don't know. And I was like, Kendra, honestly, Kendra G. What does that mean, honestly, Kendra G? She has a female on here now. And this is the one that I found, but I'm pretty sure that there might be, a whole bunch of them, but who knows? But this one is about wives and being married, and the things that people say on the internet might be different from what actually happens in real life. So I just wanted to come on here because I was bored and there ain't that much news in the news that I really wanted to get into. Really didn't want to get into the news. Just wanted to, get on and say hi and bye and do that kind of thing. So I was like, okay, I want to listen to the interview with Kendra G and the lady who considers herself a wife and what wives should be doing as opposed to single women. What should wives be doing? Right? And I wanted to find out what was going on. So without further ado, here is Kendra, and we will make commentary as we go through. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe button as you come in the door. We ain't doing the honestly hard hard news. This is for the Kendra G fans. And I was kind of, so I was like, let me do one.
Social media, if she wants to be a wife. Man is 100% a provider in the home, which I hear all day, every day on my show. Do you think that should be every woman's requirement? Should she require that her man is 100% the provider?
No.
You do not believe a man is a prize.
I just don't understand this concept.
What do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions about marriage?
There's a lot.
Hey everyone, welcome to Honestly Kendra G. I am so excited about today's episode because I have a guest and I saw you guys. We can't wait for Kendra to bring one of her celebrity friends on the show. And listen, that will happen. For sure, I'm going to invite some of my celebrity friends on the podcast.
But for now, they don't want to come on because you're not that big. You're big, but you're not that big. And your celebrity friends are like B-list friends. So we'll wait for the A-list.
But that's not really the mission behind this podcast. I did that for 20 years of my life. Really, this mission is to help women in particular. Of course, we got men that watch too, but the mission is to help women to get into a better situation. So today I got one of my favorite humans on the planet who just happens to be my best friend. And the title is called Advice from a Wife. She is married. She also owns her own floral company, Old Vine Floral. They have their own fragrance, Old Vine Fragrance. And she, like I said, is my bestie. So she's a celebrity to me. We got Itika Grimbo in the building. Hey, girl.
Hi, Kenji. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. It's so funny because we have toyed about a podcast for a very long time. And, you know, Itika's like,
I knew Kendra was going to start that bullshit like she always does. She always pulls her own personal stuff into the video instead of just putting the subject out there. Okay. Issue, don't forget anger management. Glad.
like literally my best friend. So we talk all the time and we're like, we can't say this shit on camera.
No, we cannot.
We cannot say this stuff. We can't be recorded with this information. And then also, I don't know if you have, but I've seen friends do podcasts together and they don't be friends no more after.
I have seen or heard, and you know, because the comments and everybody, and it's like when you're besties, you might say something that somebody will be like, "Oh," but it's like, you know my heart, I know your heart,
right?
You know, we talk every day, all day,
right?
Like,
right. So I'm like, we're gonna protect our friendship.
Yes.
That's more important. But I wanted to bring you on because obviously, you know, I mean, she knows everything about me.
If she's such a good friend, why she ain't got you a husband? Why she ain't found you a husband? Because that's the main thing that you want. We know you want that because you scrape the bottom of the barrel when it comes to men sometimes. So we know you want to get married. So why your friend, who is a person who got married, why she can't find you a husband?
I mean, I own a dating app. I host a dating show.
And she know you so well.
And a lot of times I'll say stuff and it's stuff that I kind of got from you. And people be like, she's not even married. She don't got no kids. How's she going to help you become a wife? And I'm like, and I've said this 1,000 times, mostly all of my friends are married. So I said, you know what? We're going to do an episode called Advice from a Wife. I'm going to bring my bestie on who is married and we're going to get some advice because I have so many women who want to be in your position as in loving husband, provider, you know, you guys have a child together. It's a very beautiful story. So we got a couple things to say, but before we get there, and we will do a bestie show, I got to just say, I love you so much.
I love you too. And I'm so proud of you, Kendra.
No.
Your journey is, you know, you inspire me every day. I tell you that.
All right, let's not do the circle jerk. Let's not do the circle jerk. Let's get down to brass tacks. She's supposed to be an expert. Let's see how long she's been married and what is so special about her marital relationships. Let's see.
That all the time.
Aww.
Your hustle is so, can we say it, Russell?
But, you know, I was thinking about you and we're going to do a bestie show, but since it's like, we're going to do this episode, I wanted to say it as I'm talking to you. I love you so much because I was thinking about it. There's probably probably 5 people on this planet who really, really, really know me, like knows the highs, the lows, the journey, the work. And the fact that I can be myself with you, celebrate with you, cry with you, you know, feel like I can say anything to you. Sometimes I feel bad because you have such it is not easy being my best friend because my emotions could be all around the world. And because I don't trust a lot of people, you're a person that I trust enough to come to with anything. So I just want to say thank you for being a friend.
Aww.
Like, thank you for being a friend.
And vice versa. Listen, my life is
I knew it was going to be a fucking circle jerk. I knew it just for a minute. Come on, give me about 2-3 minutes and then we be done with this shit. Let's do it.
a little more calm now, but there was a time when I was calling you and I was going through it, and you answered every call and you showed up and you hugged me and you told me, you know.
Wait a minute. She's on here to give advice about being a wife. Going through what? What exactly was she going through as a married woman? There was a time when I was going through it. What does that mean?
The hard truth. So yes. I'm just, you know, paying it back.
I know this is kind of becoming into the best friend show, but I want to tell people how we met, and then we'll get into.
Oh, God damn, Kendra, we sick of you.
Where we are now. So, you know, Chicago, I love y'all so much because Chicago, really, when I think about it, so many amazing things happened to me in that city, and we actually met in that city, and it's almost as nice.
I was born around that city
19 years ago because it was 2006. I remember the year because my mother was alive and she had a stroke that year. And the reason I remember when I first moved to Chicago, Oprah was still there. And Oprah was the thing, child. When if you go to Chicago, you're trying to be on the Oprah Winfrey Show.
I mean, Oprah was Chicago.
Yes.
Like, Chicago obviously has lots of other
my cousin Oprah
things that people remember it for, know it for. But when the Oprah Show was in Chicago,
yes.
Like, you wanted to meet Oprah. You wanted to go see Oprah.
Yes.
Oprah was, yes.
Everything. So I didn't know you at this time, but I just moved to Chicago. Right. And then my friends came to visit, like my birthday weekend, and we go to the Harpo Studios. And then there was a guy like walking out of the building. And I was like, oh my God, you work here? Like, you know Oprah? And he was like, yeah. I was like, I just moved to Chicago. I got to come to the show. He was like, well, we're not filming right now, but when we come back filming, I'll get you tickets. And I was like, please remember me. I host the morning show on Power 92. So excited. This was in May. Fast forward to, I want to say October, like months later, that man remembered me, found my email, sent me an email and said, are you the girl I met in the parking lot a few months ago? Because if so, I have tickets to the Oprah show in 2 weeks. And I was like, yes, it's me. So the reason I'm telling you guys this story is because it ties into Itika. So, okay, so I'm all excited. You know, this is the year my mother had a stroke, so she was still recovering. But I was like, Ma, we going to the Oprah Winfrey Show. You know, you're coming to Chicago for the first time. She was still living in Connecticut. So the weekend, it was a Monday taping. And the weekend prior, I was hosting an event, a model competition. And lo and behold, Itika was one of the judges.
I was. And it was like Miller Lite.
Yeah, it was like Bud Light. It was like Miller Lite, Bud Light, girl. But we clicked. Like, I was the host and she was one of the judges. And, you know, you kind of have to talk to the judges. And we just kind of clicked. Mm-hmm. And then when it was all said, I was like, well, let's stay in touch. She gives me her card. And then she had a card with her number on it, but it said Harpo Studios. And I was like, oh my God, she works for Oprah. Like, had no idea. You know, I look at your card after like we leave and I was like, maybe I'll see her on Monday. Mm-hmm. So now this is like the weekend. Monday happens. I'm going to the Oprah Winfrey Show with my mother. Lo and behold, the girl I met a few days earlier was the audience coordinator.
Yes. I was the audience coordinator and I sat you and your mom in some really good seats.
You sat us in the front. You literally sat us in the front of the audience. It was the episode with Gail and Oprah. They did a road trip, child. And I always tell people I knew Gail before I knew Oprah because, you know, I'm from Connecticut. And
she is so long-winded, I swear to God. I like Kendra, but Kendra talks too much. And this is the perfect opportunity, perfect job for her because she likes to talk about herself. But the thing is, she has a dating show. She is doing dating show. And I hate to skip ahead, but I got to skip ahead because she drives me nuts.
It really was like the stars just aligned and God got involved. It was a blessing.
No, I think so too. Because you wasn't even pressed to be a mom.
No, I was.
You're like a great, like, here's the deal. She's such a good mother. Like, I almost can't even, like, I can't even almost remember the days when you were not a mom, because you're a really good mom.
Thank
You enjoy being a mom. This is why sometimes I feel like, I know, listen, it's not a lie. When you get older, it is becoming more complicated to have children. But the blessing when you get older, you already lived your life.
Yeah, period.
Like, you already lived your life. You're not mad at your child. Like, I could be in Jamaica right now if it wasn't for you. Like,
all of that.
We did all the things.
And I see people online, they're like, why would you have children older? Like, it's so strange when I see it. Like, people will say, or women will say, I'm in my 20s. I couldn't imagine having kids in my 40s, or I'm in my 30s. I couldn't imagine waiting until I'm 40 to have kids. And it's like, 20-year-old me, 20-something-year-old me with a kid, absolutely not. She was not ready. She
Girl,
was
we
not
was
ready.
on planes.
Oh, listen, outside. Okay, 30-something-year-old me, she was not ready. God knew what he was doing. He was like, sis, you need a few more years to get your stuff together.
But you know what I love about that, though? And this is what I've learned in hosting my dating show. Life is really not one size fit all, right? So if you're 20 years old and you're ready to become a mom, no shade. Like, that makes sense. But if you're not ready, you know,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with not being ready, because I had a child when I was 39. So it's nothing wrong with not being ready, because sometimes you just ain't ready.
big believer and I get so much help from this online, but I will never change this. I will always tell women to freeze their eggs, because it will just buy you more time.
You get hell for telling people to freeze their eggs?
Oh, girl, you understand, these internet streets be like,
oh my God,
they be trying to come for me and my frozen eggs, baby child.
That is the smartest thing you can do as a woman who has, in my opinion, who wants to have children, but has yet to find their life partner, is to freeze your eggs.
Right.
It's the smartest thing you could do.
Yes, because
a lot of companies, their insurance will cover it. So it's essentially free. It's the smartest thing you could do.
Yeah. Even though that wasn't your experience.
No,
you didn't have to go that route, but I love that you still support it.
Yes.
Because listen, life, like I said, life is not one size fit all. So you might meet Mr. Right at 25, or maybe you'll meet Mr. Right at 42, and at least you have your frozen eggs if you want to pursue motherhood still. So I will always, I'm gonna look right at the camera. If you know you want to be a mom one day, freeze your eggs right now. Now, yes, it's going to cost you a coin, but you buying expensive purses, you going on trips.
Ain't no poor woman freezing her coin. Ain't no poor woman freezing her eggs. Most women are not freezing their eggs. Most people don't want to do that. I get what she's talking about, but if you have the expense to do that, that's a different story. Most people don't have the money to do that kind of expense.
It will give you an opportunity to not be rushed when you meet a guy. So I'm never gonna not tell women.
I just don't think there's a downside to it if you want to have children one day, but you haven't found the person that you want to share your life with.
Right. I love it. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of things, because this episode is called Advice from a Wife. And something you said, it wasn't one of my questions, but I think it'll be good to talk about because you're obviously married, but before you got married, you and your now husband lived together.
Yes.
And you mentioned you guys were together for 5 years before you guys officially got married. Now, some people will say, why did you wait too long? Maybe you shouldn't have moved in. Like, what are your thoughts on living with the person before marriage?
Right.
I think it's fine. I feel like if you live with someone, you really get to know them.
Right.
And personally, if you wait until marriage to really get to know the person in that way, it's just a different knowledge that you get when you are living under the same roof. You can, but for me, I think I was like 36 when we moved in, and I had all my stuff. He had all his stuff. So it wasn't like I needed a place to stay. It wasn't like he was trying to convince me to and put me.
Well, at that particular point, you knew about each other. You knew yourself, which is the most important. One of the most important things is to know yourself. Because a lot of people get in relationship, have babies and don't know themselves. They just have babies randomly, no thought, no pregnancy, no planning. She planned all this. She planned to be married. She planned to have
in this situation where I was doing something I didn't want to do. We just were spending so much time together. It was like, why are we paying 2 rents? Like, really, it just didn't make sense.
Right.
Like, either you're at my house or I'm at your house. Why are we paying 2 rents? It was that simple.
Did you think that moving in, because I hear this at times, moving in makes him comfortable, and then it's like now he has no reason to get married or propose because he already has you in the home, and it's like you're getting the wife benefits without without literally being married. So what would you say to that?
I think that is a personality type.
Okay.
If the person does not want to get married, they don't want to get married. It's not because they moved you in and now they don't have a reason. Like, they just don't want to get married to you anymore. Okay. Right? Maybe they did one day and then a couple months went by and they could have learned some things about you living under the same roof that was like, oh, I don't know if this is the woman that I want to spend the rest of my life with. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think we can make choices and our minds can change.
Right.
So if something goes down while y'all are living together and, you know, minds change, that's not that big of a deal to me.
Right.
You know, maybe someone else might be devastated. Like, oh my God, I moved all the way. You know, I moved in here. I got rid of my place. But I'm going to also say when I moved in with him, I Airbnb'd my apartment for a year.
Okay.
So I didn't just break my lease and, you know, have nowhere to go. I did give myself a year just in case.
Okay.
I did do that.
Okay. So if things didn't work out, you could go back to your apartment.
Yes.
I didn't even know that.
I sure did, girl.
I didn't even know that. Like, look, I'm learning things about you. Now, let me ask this. Did you guys talk about marriage? Did you know that marriage was going to be something that he wanted? Because what I love about her husband, BG, he's like cool, right? BG is like, BG's my N-word, if I can say it like that, right? I think all of your friends love your husband, and BG gives it to us real. He going to tell us he's a real, like, he's not no punk, like he a real one. That's the way to say it.
Yes.
Your husband's a real one.
Yes. Yes.
So do you feel like, did y'all talk early on about marriage? Like, were you like, because I think 2 things could be true, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if you do want marriage and this guy is saying, because there's a string along thing and he's just making it sound like he's going to marry you one day, but potentially never. Mm-hmm. And then there's a guy that's like, no, I want to get married to you. I just got to put some things in place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was very clear within the first year of us dating that he wanted to be married. Okay. And he wanted to marry me. He had been married before. Okay. And I think, you know, some people, I don't know what the opinions are, the general opinions, but I do think that a man who's been married before, he at least is open to marriage, because there might be men out there who will tell you they want to marry you. They've never been married before. They're men of a certain age. Right. I would kind of give a side eye, like, are you sure? Because why take you this long? I'm so wonderful. I don't really think that. I think it's really on the man.
Right.
So because he had been married before and we talked a lot about his first marriage and he believes in marriage and he wanted to be married again and he wanted to marry me, you know, I believed him.
Right. I think that's, you know, one thing I've learned in hosting my show, and there's for 5 years of talking to single people, I have learned so much. And something you said is so true. Like a man who wants to get married, that's in his cloth, right? Like, and on my show in particular, when I meet I could tell the men who are very serious about getting married. And a lot of times it ties to children because they're ready to start their legacy. So at that moment, they're really looking for a life partner because they want to really start life with that person. Yeah. I think there's some men who just like being in relationships. I think BG was that kind of guy.
He is definitely a serial dater, serial monogamous. Like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's a very good thing. And that's a good thing that they know themselves enough that they like to be in relationships. I'm one of those people. Well, I'm one of those people. When I know that I'm better when I'm in a relationship than when I'm single. And maybe people who understand that about themselves, you know, adjust accordingly. You know, they adjust their behavior, they adjust their lifestyle to be accepting. I mean, because when you're like a corporate raider and you don't have time for a family and you're doing this, that, and the other, making money and doing all this stuff, sometimes you don't have room to put other people in your life. But if you're one of those people who know they want to be married, know they want to be in a relationship, they usually make room for you to be in their life. They usually make room for people to be in their life.
Relationship.
And I think if you're dealing with a guy who's never had a girlfriend, that is a sign. Like, he doesn't like having a girlfriend. He's okay with just dating with women with no titles. This isn't necessarily a judgment. It's more of a get the insight, because you can waste your time with the guy if you know marriage anyways is for real what you want, then if you're dealing with a guy who ain't have a girlfriend in 10 years, he probably okay with how he living.
Yes, for me, that would be a red flag.
Right.
He didn't have a girlfriend in 10 years.
Right.
So do you think, would there have been a time limit for you, like, had you guys never gotten married? Because you said it was like around 5 years when he proposed. Would you have got to a point if everything was going great, y'all live together, you guys they're literally best friends. Like, they literally are best friends. They do everything together. Would you had left that relationship if he did not propose?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah, because marriage is something that I wanted. And because he told me that that's something that he wanted, I would have felt deceived. Like, even though we dated for 5 years, he never wavered that he wanted to marry me. I wasn't getting, mixed signals. It just hadn't happened yet. And a lot of it is, also.
And that was a good thing that they waited. They lived together for 5 years, didn't have a baby, didn't get pregnant. That's the key. Don't get pregnant just out of willy-nilly to force somebody's hand. Wait till you get into a relationship before you get pregnant. That's the ideal situation. Wait till you do that. So she was older. She got with him when she was 36. And then they lived together yet again until she was like 40-something, I guess. I don't know.
Sorts of things, financials. I feel like we were having so much fun. Sometimes time just goes by and you're like, oh my God, it's been 3 years. Like, how does time go by that fast? And also, I wasn't really pressuring him. I wasn't like, so when are you going to propose? So then he probably was like, well, she's good, so we're good. You know what I mean? But eventually, I probably would have ended it if we didn't get married.
Okay. Yeah, I think,
I would usually tell people, if it's 2 or 3 years, 2 years is a good thing. 3 years, we're kind of pushing it. I don't know whether I would have stuck around for 5 years without having a ring or some kind of promise. But if he seemed very devoted, I probably would have waited a little bit more. I would probably hated it, but I probably would have cracked and said, hey, I think the possibility of getting married would be a better thing than not. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have waited around 5 years.
I'm on the fence with that because I agree with you. One thing I will say, and I think about this, like, all of my friends who are married, like, y'all standards, that's why it's almost like just have the standard, because my friends who are married, their standards are like so non-negotiable, and they're all married. Like, it's like either it's this or that or it's nothing. I'm good type of vibe. But I feel like sometimes you might have a really awesome guy who, for whatever reason, like, doesn't believe in marriage, but shows up for you potentially, in the manner of what a husband would do. That's why this is why I say life is not one size fit all, because you may leave a good man and think that, okay, because we didn't get married, and then you're just potentially could be single and might not meet a guy that's treating you that great. But it's such an individual scenario.
If marriage is important to you, I do think I think everyone should at least give themselves a chance to get what they want.
Right.
So if I want to be married and marriage is important to me, then I need to date to marry.
Right.
If it's not as important, but having a life partner, someone to share your life with, it doesn't have to have any labels. You don't have to sign the contract or go in front of a judge or any of that. Then it was fine.
Right.
Don't get married.
Right. It's so interesting because she's just so conservative today. I said, girl, you got on a blazer, girl.
It's like advice from a wife. I mean, I'm trying to look all,
No, but you also told me, you said, well, Brian, he likes this.
He does. My husband has a sense of fashion, and he tells me what he likes and what he doesn't like. And he liked this.
But listen, I like that because when you said that, I said, I want to talk about that. Do you think a woman should take in consideration how her man would like her to dress?
Should she take into consideration? My advice to a friend, okay, would be yes.
Yes.
Because you're representing your partner.
Okay.
And vice versa. If I'm walking into a room and I look a certain way, they're looking at me and they're looking at the man that I'm with, and they're judging us. They're making some analysis, right?
Right.
And if my husband or my man wants me to dress a certain way and I'm okay with it, it doesn't bother me. I don't feel like it's asking too much, or putting me, in an uncomfortable position, then I'm totally okay with it.
Yeah.
Because my belief is this is because, you know, you want your woman to look a certain way. You want to be like, hey, look at my girl. And you're proud and you're showing her off. And that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Okay. No, I like that answer. I think I agree with
you. This is Kendra's best friend. According to Kendra, this is her best friend. Her best friend who's married, who can't seem to find Kendra a husband, who can seem to find herself a husband, but not Kendra a husband. Her best friend. She's giving dating advice.
The answer too, because when you are in a relationship, you should just consider your partner, right? Yeah. And let's go to social media because I got so many questions. Well, no, before I go to social media, let me ask this question because, and I was, you know, when you're such good friends, you try to figure out what can you say, what can you not say. But I think you're okay with me saying that you don't pay bills. So
not at home.
Not at home. Not at home. Yes, your husband takes care of the bills at home. Yes. You guys own a company together.
Company, yes, and so that part I am financially responsible for our company.
Okay.
But in the home,
no. Okay. Now, with that being said, so since your man is 100% a provider in the home, which I hear all day, every day on my show, do you think that should be every woman's requirement? Should she require that her man is 100% the provider?
No, unless it is important to you.
Okay.
Now, I would be in a situation where things were 50-50 potentially. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. But that's not the man that I married. So my husband, when we got together, he's like, I take care of all the bills without you. It's all done. Now I'm bringing you into the situation. Right. I don't need you to give me anything because this is already how I'm going to live with or without you. Right. Now, do I buy groceries? Of course. Do I, chip in here and there? I don't, yeah, right. There's no, and if it comes down to it, if I ever have to take over any bills, any expense, I'm more than happy to do it. Right. But it was just kind of like, this is already being paid.
Right. Again, I quote you so much on my show. I literally just had this conversation on my show because I had a woman, because what happens is, and I think
yeah, but you hear on the internet, you hear a lot of people say, well, he has to be the provider. Not every person in this day and age is able to provide for a family 100%. And there's nothing wrong with the 20, 25%, 75, 60, 40. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay for you to do that. Some women, are fully provided for, and those people usually they feel entitled, and then you don't have a satisfying marriage or a satisfying relationship. If you're not invested in a relationship, money-wise, emotional-wise, it feels kind of hollow. So when people say, "Oh, okay, he gonna take care of me all the way, and my money is my money," that's a very selfish person, and usually you have to think about long-term relationships with people that are selfish when they're talking about somebody has to take care of them. That's okay to say he takes care of me, but he really doesn't pay everything. But when he does pay everything and you say, oh, he gonna take care of me and I ain't paying no bills, that's a problem with that person.
I said this on the show. I think this is definitely my masculine trait because I am an entrepreneur. I run a company, so I know what it takes to make money. Like I make money. Nobody pays me. I have to make money, right? So and most men are usually in that position. So I think there is a sympathy for me, for men in that manner. But I had a woman on my show recently and she was the mom of 5 and she was 1000% like her, and she was divorced, but her next man had to be a provider and she's not paying the mortgage and she'll buy the groceries, kind of like you said. And then I was just like, but girlfriend, you come with 4 humans. And the reason I'm bringing the story up is because of the conversation that you just said that, most provider men are like kind of what your husband said. I'm already taking care of what I got. So just move into my spot. Well, it's hard to move into like a bachelor pad if you have 4 kids. Right. Like now you have to move to a larger spot that may cost more money. And so it might not be the same ordeal. Right. And so when you were sharing that story, I was like, see, I be quoting her all the time, but, and not saying that a woman with 4 kids can't get this package. Right. So again, I always say this, I'm not God, I'm not absolute. I can't say what will not happen, but the probabilities, it's more tough because it's more expensive.
Well, 9 times out of 10, she's not going to move into a provider situation. She's going to move into a situation where she's doing 50-50. She's paying half, he's paying half, and then she got 4 kids and blah, blah, blah. I would never put 4 kids over one man anyway without me providing something.
It's more expensive. I mean, listen, we have one, and when I have a bonus son, we have one together. Children are so expensive. I'm like paying for babysitters when you go out to eat, tuition, family trips. There's another flight you got to buy. I mean, they're expensive. So I don't think it's something you should take lightly, putting that responsibility on anyone else.
That's not the original parent.
Yes, I don't think you should take that lightly.
Okay. But even though you don't pay 100%, I mean, you have 100% provider in the home, you do think that if a woman's in a situation 50-50 with a guy, that's acceptable?
100%, because everything is expensive. I mean, come on, even especially in LA.
Right.
So if I'm working a job and this is what I can afford, you're working a job, this is what you can afford, we put our stuff together and we could really, take ourselves to another level, get a better place, get a better car, go on more trips. Yes, do that.
Right.
I think you should do that.
You think you should do that? Okay. Okay. Advice from a wise child. She said you might have to put something on the mortgage. One thing I will say, and I think I'll share this story. I try to, like, you're a friend I'm revealing the face of, but a lot of my other friends I don't want to tell everybody's business. But there is one story of one of my friends who married an athlete. And I want to say within maybe a year or two in their marriage, he got hurt and he can return. I don't want to tell the sport, but he couldn't return.
Okay.
And, obviously most people think like, oh, she hit the jackpot. She married an athlete. No, like 2 years in the marriage, everything changed. And then she had to essentially kind of be the breadwinner for a minute because her husband dealt with a lot, like, the opportunity that he's been preparing for his whole life, money changing almost like overnight. And if she was not in it for the real substance, then she would have been out, but she was in it for the real substance. And just because she it seemed like she hit the jackpot, and I think she did hit the jackpot in life because outside of the money, they have a beautiful family, right? And they've been married for like 20 years now. Like this is like in my 20s. So they've been married for a very long time. But that's why the money thing, it literally can shift overnight. Like you could be with 100% a provider and then something can happen to him and then you have to woman up extremely fast.
And it happens in my opinion, people have to understand marriages have highs and they have lows. They have ups and they have downs.
Right.
And if you're in it for life, you got to roll with the punches.
Right.
You just do.
Right.
If I had to go get 3 jobs to help pay the bills because my husband lost his job, I wouldn't think twice about it.
Right.
I love that. What do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions about marriage?
Yeah, I believe the same thing. I mean, because I ran into the same situation where my husband had the big artery in his chest blew up like a small onion and he couldn't work. So I had to do the work. I had to be the provider for the family. I had to do that for about 2 years. And he was amazing. He was amazing, but he was sick. And I had to be the provider at some point. Because some points a woman does have to step up. Specifically if you're married for a long time. And I was married for like 30 plus years. So of course, I saw ups and downs being married. So of course, there were times when I worked and he didn't make as much as I did and I made as much as he did because I have degrees and he doesn't. I mean, it's just different dynamics when you get married. It's just not all one way, right?
What are some of the biggest misconceptions about marriage? There's a lot.
All day, Black Wolf, all day, just like you.
Think that one of the biggest misconceptions about marriage, I'm going to say what is the biggest, is that you don't ever disagree, that you don't ever have conflict.
Right.
I feel like depending on your personality, you might have a lot of conflict. It's how you handle the conflict. And
which is what I always say. The most important thing about being married is how you resolve conflict. Do you resolve conflict? Do you have conflict resolution skills? That's one of the most important things when it comes to being married. Otherwise, your marriage won't make it. Just won't.
that really is where you find an amazing marriage, in my opinion. I don't think a marriage with no conflict is amazing. I think a marriage where two people from time to time have conflict, but are able to, fight fair, come to an understanding, forgive easily. That is how you get to the happy marriage.
I love it. Okay, let's talk about social media. Does it matter how a woman presents herself in her single season on social media if she wants to be a wife?
I think so.
You do?
Yes. Yes. Girl, I was single trying to be a wife on social media. Put my little thirst traps out there. But yeah, I think so.
But then you end up getting married.
I did, but my thirst traps were not traps. They were like mini little baby traps. I was before, it got real thirsty.
But so tell me why. Like, do you think it should be a more conservative? Like, what would be some of the advice to the women who are very like on social media and present themselves?
I feel like you should present yourself for who you are. So don't try to deceive people on social media, pretend like you get flued out all the time and shopping on Rodeo, and that's really not your life. Just be like, this is my life, however you want to present it. But I think you should be authentic.
Right.
And I don't think you should. I feel like sometimes women, they're hypersexualize themselves on social media, and maybe they don't think they're being hyper sexy, but it's like, yeah, girl, I can see all your stuff. But then you don't want to be sexualized by men that approach you, that have seen your social pages. They're like, well, you're so sexy on social media. Like, can I hit that? And then you're like, how dare you? It's like, girl, you don't think he's going to ask? Like, to me, that's where it gets tricky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, okay, that's fair. It's almost like you walk up to a police officer, you expect them to be a police officer. So if a woman is dressing revealing, although it's not right, no man has the right to be disrespectful. But if a man sees you in a certain way on social media, they're going to expect you to present a certain way. So,
and I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying if you're body confident and this is how you like to present, this is the type of pictures you like to take, and that's how you like to get attention, by all means. But just know it is going to garner a type of response and a type of man. And that is just kind of like how things work in life.
I got that. Let me tell you, this is my personal story. So Leon and Kyle, I host a morning show in Chicago at WGCI. And I love my photo shoot. So this is like 30s. We're like 30 years old. We traveling. We going to Mexico, like all around this world. And I will always do like bikini photo shoots, like always. And then Leon and Kyle were always, and honestly, I swear I wasn't trying to be a thirst trap. I would say that. I wasn't trying to be a thirst trap. I just really loved my body. I really want that body back. And I just really I was in amazing shape. So I was like bikini down. Like it was a thing, child. And Leon and Kyle, as my brothers and my radio co-workers, they were like, this is not how you think you're just doing it for women. Men look at these photos and they have all these thoughts. And I'll never forget the day I finally got it, because I would give them so much pushback because it truly wasn't my intention. I went to Mexico for my friend's birthday, and there was like a phone party, right? I was like, oh, okay, we're in the phone party. And I post the phone. It's literally a phone party. I post a phone party like on Instagram. When I tell you those comments were so like,
the phone had them going.
The phone had them going. And for the first time, literally it clicked. And I was like, what? I was mad. I was like, I cannot believe, because I'm actually, even though I'm kind of conservative to a certain degree. And I was just like, I was so upset. Like one of my guy friends, Charlie Mack, who's one of my really good friends, called me and was like, you know how this video, and I was like, are you serious? And I don't know. It's been so many years. I think I may have taken it down, but that was the moment when I got how people perceive you. So it might not be a woman's intentions to be presented as sexualized and, men are going to look at you this way, but that's the way they're looking at you.
And to be honest with you, I loved your bikini pics that you would take when you were on vacation.
Girl, okay.
I thought they were classy. I didn't think they were distasteful. I thought your body was great. You were working out. You were on vacay. I thought they were fine, but I guess the phone was a bridge too far.
I think the phone, I think it was the phone because I thought the photos would be nice too. And then also when I'll have photographers and they'll be like, arch back. And I'm like, I'm not arching back. But there was a time, I have 1 million followers on social media now. I didn't always have 1 million followers.
Mm-hmm.
So even when I was doing radio, I think before my show, I had like 100,000 social media followers. And there's a lot of things I posted when I had such a small following that I would never post now because now it's like, listen, I don't think I say I'm a public figure. I don't say I'm famous, but I'm definitely a public figure. Sure. And to the point where if I post something on my Instagram, like it's on somebody else's page, I'm like, well, I was just trying to show it to my friends, child. So I kind of got that a little bit. So I'm way more cautious on what I share now than I did, girl, when we was going through these streets. Let's talk about, okay. So this is episodes of Advice from a Wife. I want to get your idea about this. What? Should a woman ever pay for a date?
I think it's okay to pay for a date.
No, now we about to disagree. Why should a woman should never pay for a date? Kendra. Okay. Let's be clear. Not like your husband's birthday's coming up. Not like you're in a relationship. That's gonna happen, right? Mm-hmm. Once you're in a partnership, that's gonna probably change a lot. Mm-hmm. But in the beginning, courting.
Wait a minute, I could have sworn she said at some point that if you're the one who does the date or whatever, you should pay for the date too. So now it's always the man that pays for the date. I figure whoever asks for the date pays for the date. And if he's a gentleman, more than likely he will pay for the date. That's usually how it is. Whoever asks for the date, pay for the date. If the man is a gentleman, more than likely he will pay for the date. He'll say, no, I won't. I can't even allow that. My dad would never allow that. I've heard many men say that, right?
During the courting stage, you think a woman should be open-minded to paying for a date?
Personally, okay, since you, not necessarily while courting, because courting is, for me, if you ask me, it's the time for the man to show you kind of who he is, how he shows up, how, he behaves. Right. So by treating you, he's saying, I'm a provider. I take care of things. I can afford to do this or that. Meaning, if we go to dinner, it doesn't have to be the best restaurant. You're just, or I should say most expensive restaurant, but you're taking me where you can afford. Right. And that is totally cool. Right. So courting, yes, I do think the man should pay. But if it's in your heart and you're being courted and one of the dates, you're like, I got this. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If that's in your heart.
Right. I've done that. Okay. That's fair. I've definitely done that. Like but it's not the first, second, maybe third, third. And the reason I say this is because you kind of said it. It doesn't have to be an expensive date. Mm-hmm. Like if what he can afford is breakfast and we're going to go to Dunkin' Donuts and talk, I think that's fine. Like I think a woman, or if it's like, let's work out and we get smoothies and I take care of the smoothie, like whatever his budget entails. So it's not like it has to be $1,000 date. It could totally be a $50 date within his budget. But I think it's very, the reason I give pushback on a woman paying first, second, okay. Mm-hmm. Third, you can definitely, and I think I have probably even offered, because I'm definitely a girl that is like, I don't mind paying, like offering things in relationships when it comes to money. Like, if I got it and you've done so much, okay, I can do this. Mm-hmm. But I think that so many women, times have changed, mm-hmm. and there's men who feel like they're the prize and they're requiring women to like pay for things that it's a new day. Like, you be happy you married, girl. It's a new day because men want to be flued out. Oof. Men are like, it was your idea. I had a guy that came on my show and was like, well, it was her idea for the date. So she should have paid. Like, she wanted
How was it her idea? She asked him out.
So they met from my show, mm-hmm. and then he said had she came to him, he would have paid for everything. But because he had to go to her, he felt it only made sense that she paid for the date because he went to her.
How far away from each other were they?
I didn't even give a damn. I don't care if it was across the country.
Was it a Jet 2 holiday? Like, how did you get there?
I was just like, So when he was really trying to confirm, like, well, and I have heard this. I've heard men say that if the date is the woman's idea, like she's the one that wants to date, she should be the one to pay. I think that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know these new rules,
Yeah,
child. This is not my dating scene. My dating scene is a little more traditional, for sure.
What about if you're dating? Because this happens. If you're dating long distance, should the guy be required to buy your plane ticket to see him?
Required. I think that is a stretch. Okay. I feel like if it depends on where everybody's money is, how badly the one person wants to see the other. Like if I really want to see you, and I'm waiting for you to buy my ticket, like, do I really want to see you that bad? Maybe I want to see you so bad. I'm about to buy the ticket and I'm coming out to see you. Like, that's fine.
Yes. Yeah. Obviously, I tell Itika this all the time because we talk about relationships. And this next question is, how important is it with looks? Do you feel looks matter? And, and the reason I say, I'm like, well, Itika,
yeah. Well, before she answers, I say yes. Looks matter. Why? Because the initial attraction has to be there. You have to be attracted to the person somehow, some way. You just can't be in a relationship and not be attracted. There are some people who get in relationships and they're not attracted. The money is the most important thing. I'm not one of those people that believe money is the most important thing. I'm not one of those people that walk around and then try to figure out if I'm going to be involved with you. The attraction has to be the first thing, regardless of whether you have the same values, morals, whatever. An attraction has to be there in order for a relationship to work. That is what smooths the edges in relationships, is the attraction. The attraction is what smooths the relationships. You don't have an attraction, you're going to be annoyed quicker about every little thing that person does. Okay? I know I'm not attracted to him, and now he talking crazy to me. I know I'm not attracted to her. She don't turn me on, so I'm annoyed because she don't turn me on. And I need somebody to turn me on when I'm in this relationship. So attraction has to be there. But for a man, it's the physical, it's the complete physical thing. If the complete physical thing is not there, he won't be attracted. He won't want to pursue a relationship. With a female, a woman, the physical attraction might be important at the beginning and it might not be. You might not be the most important or most attractive man, but if I spend time with you, you're not hideous. But if I spend time with you and then I realize that your personality is really, really great and X, Y, and Z, you might become that man. So women have different things they find important. Men is completely the physical spot first. Physical body first.
Is a 10. And the reason I say you're a 10 is because obviously you're married, but before you were married, you were a single girl. And you dated certain men that I'm like, well, this is a 10 experience. Like you're having, like every woman's not going to have this experience, right? So I think that going back.
And we have to take into account that she's a beautiful woman. We have to take into account that she is a beautiful woman. This woman who's giving advice. And we have to take into account how we receive advice. We receive advice from beautiful women. Beautiful women's experience is different. I would consider her maybe a 7 or an 8, right? Her experience, her lived experience is going to be different from a person that is a 3 or a 4 or an average looking person. She's not an average looking person. So we have to remember that we have to watch out for the seasoning that these women put on relationships because they're beautiful women talking about relationships with an ease. Beautiful women have it more easy when it comes to relationships and getting into relationships. So we have to really watch out how we listen to the advice that we get from some of these women. And it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I completely agree. The experience is the experience. But sometimes the experience is not that they would have, other women might not have that same experience. That's all. Because she is considered like a 7 or 8 or whatever, right?
To one size doesn't fit all. Every woman's going to have a different experience when it comes to relationships and options.
Right.
But how important do you think looks matter in wanting to become a wife?
Matter as far as the guy, like the woman
the guy.
yeah.
I guess this kind of is a guy question. It's kind of something that your husband would probably have to answer. But the reason I think it's important, the reason I don't mind asking you this question is because you take care of yourself very well. Like sometimes I'll call Itika, she's on the treadmill. Like she's on the treadmill, or like when it's like, okay, I gotta be skinny, I'm not gonna eat today. Like she like you're very big. I mean, obviously you're still like, before Noah, your beautiful daughter, you probably, you're a little like big is a stretch. Big because you're not big, but you made your,
I went like a size up after I had Noah.
Yeah,
for sure.
after you had your daughter, you went up like maybe one size.
Yeah.
But typically, you're still very thin and you work out so much. So I feel like you take, even though you're married, you take your parents like it matters to you. And I remember I was like, well, how, like, I don't drink, but I take a drink. I'm like, how do you not gain weight and you drink? And you're like, I just didn't eat today.
Well, unfortunately for you, Black America, looks do matter. Looks matter just as much for you as it does for women. It's not the number. Everybody has a list of what's important. Looks are important to men. That's number one for men. Looks may not be number one for women, but it's just as important for women. It may not be number one. It's not. I'm pretty sure it's not number one for women. Is the look. But it is important, and they should matter. I don't know why you would think it shouldn't matter to women if a man is attractive or not. I don't understand that. We don't care. You have to be attracted to a person. You guys don't get all of the attraction, and that's a talking point anyway. That don't even make sense.
I mean, it's calories. Yeah. Which one am I going to do?
So, do you think it's important that a woman takes care of herself and her appearance?
100%. Even like when I was single, I would leave the house thinking potentially my husband is out there today, like waiting downstairs to run into me.
And I was the same way. Dress, be camera ready. And I used to say this to my nieces and kids, and you can ask them. I used to say, be camera ready every time you walk out the door. Because if you're camera ready every time you walk out the door, you have the potential to impress whoever is outside the door. And if you're looking for a husband, he knows what you look like at your optimum best. And that means hair, nails, whatever. You should always be camera ready when you walk outside the door. No, it should. I don't know where you would get that it shouldn't matter at all. I don't even understand. Well, that doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter what you think it shouldn't be. We women know what it is.
And that's really how my husband and I started dating. We crossed paths on the street. So I was always trying to look my best. Nothing too crazy, not like face full of makeup and, all that stuff, but, nice sweatpants and a hat that matches, some clean sneakers. I always wanted to present as my best self, because I'm like, hey, my husband could just be out there waiting for me, and I walk by and he's like, oh, what's wrong with this girl today? So that was how I chose to do it. And when I think about my single girlfriends, I'll tell them like, your husband could be like, of the ones who want to be married, he could be at the restaurant where you're picking up your takeout. Like, imagine. So, you might want to just like fluff your cheeks and, smile and be nice. And because it's looks matched with your aura.
Right.
So you can be really put together and not approachable to some men, because there is an aura that you bring off. So I do think that's important. It is both,
right?
For sure.
Okay, let's break down the aura. What kind of aura do you think when you say like unapproachable, standoffish? Like you said friendly and nice, and that's something that you're kind of like that. Like
you have to be friendly, you have to be nice, and you have to be approachable. Like, a lot of people are standoffish. Like, women are standoffish. Like, they'll stand over there in the corner, or they'll stand in a line and won't say anything, or they won't speak, or they won't talk. Be approachable. Like, talk to people. You're in line and somebody is doing something. Speak to a person. what are you doing? I mean, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's been so long since I've been on a dating scene, so long. But I'm saying be more approachable than what you have been. You know, being a bitch is not cute. Even if you're cute, being a bitch is not cute.
And the bestie show, and I can just say it now because we're along this. Atika is like, you're just like everyone loves you. Girls love you, guys love you. Like you have so many friends, and all your friends are different. Like, and I don't even know how you do it. Like, I don't know how you become a chameleon for so many different personalities and different people. But you do think that's important to be a friendly person.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's important. And I think when you want to meet men, I think the thing that a lot of people don't understand is men are shy too. Men don't want to be rejected either.
Right.
And since they, for the most part, I mean, I don't know, you're telling me about the men who are the prize. I'm not talking about these guys.
Oh, I'm happy you brought that up because I know how you feel about that.
So they know they are going to have to approach you and they don't want to be rejected.
Nobody
so you can
likes
be gorgeous, but if they feel like, even if I try, she's going to tell me no, they're not going to approach you because they're just like, why would I even do it? But if you're giving off a friendly demeanor, you become way more approachable. And in a way, you're giving them permission to approach you. You don't have to say yes. You don't have to say, sure, here's my number, but at least they feel comfortable coming to chat with you.
Got you. You know what? You are, and this is one thing I know. I'm happy you said the word. You do not believe a man is surprised.
I just don't understand.
I am like her. Somebody who actually said it. I do not believe women are the prize. I just believe women are the prize to men. Men are not the prize. You start wars for women. You crash out for women. You exist for women. So women have to be the prize.
Understand this concept. I'm sorry. It is like you have to teach me. Girl.
No, listen, I'm with you. And I always say this, and I've said this time and time again. Every husband that I know does not feel like he's the prize. Like they really do feel like their wife is the prize. And in my head right now, your relationship included, I'm thinking of like 5 men, and they all do extremely well. Like they all make more than the wife in the heads that I'm like the guys I'm thinking of, and they would all say that their wife is the prize. None of these men would tell me that they're the prize over their wife. And I know you feel very strong about that.
I do, because I mean, it's new, right? So the man is the prize thing is so new to me. Like, you know that when I started hearing it, I was like, is this real? And they're like, yes, girl, that's what they say. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And then I kind of heard it in real life, and I was like, you won't get in trouble talking like that. But apparently it's a thing. No, I feel like from where my belief system is that if you have a good husband, I mean, he will take your life somewhere that you couldn't imagine. He will take you places that you've never been. He will treat you in ways that you could not have dreamed of being treated.
Unfortunately, you have it wrong, Black America. I already explained why women would be the prize. Men you don't bring hardly all of the things that a woman brings to the table. You just not.
Loved on, doted on. I mean, it will be the most magnificent trip of your life if you have a good husband. So obviously he is precious. He is a prize. But for a single man walking around earth saying, I'm the prize, it just seems odd. Seems odd to me. That's all I'm going to say.
It seems odd. Wow. I was listening to something that you said.
I already said why women are and men think women are the prize too. They want to think that they're the prize, but they're not. Because, regardless, see, this is how I know women are the prize. This one little fact. We can be homeless, single, babies, rich, corporate woman, go-go dancer, stripper. We can be any number of those things. French fry girl, and a man is still going to chase right behind us. A man is still going to be there to get with us. the bulk of us. But you can't be that way and be a man. You can't be no fry dude and be the man and be the fry dude. You can't be the man and work at Sears and Walmart and work at a bank and a factory. You can't do them jobs like that and call you and a woman say, "Oh yeah, he's the prize." And women chase after you like you the prize. Women won't chase after you like you the prize. It doesn't matter what a woman does professionally or whatever she's doing, whether she got a job or not. There's always men that are going to chase her. Because she is a wanted commodity on this planet. It's an abundance of women on this planet, but a woman is always a prize or wanted on this planet. And that's not the case for men, because a lot of y'all don't have sex. So you have to be very clear when you get to saying men are not the prize, because women don't do X, Y, and Z. Men do all of those things for women. She could be a French fry girl or a corporate lawyer or a president. She always going to be somebody sniffing behind her. That ain't the case with men.
And let's talk about the characteristics to look for, because you said if you have a good husband, he would take you places. I think what you said, BG is going to love that. I'm definitely going to make that a clip. Her husband, I call her husband BG. But what are some characteristics of a man who wants to be a husband that women should look for?
Generous. And
wait, hold on. Break down generous, because you know, girl, when you say generous over here, now that it will kind of almost negate what you said about being willing to pay for stuff. You should pay for a first date. So break down what you mean by generous.
Generous is not just about money. It's really about a thought process.
Right.
It's thinking of you. I remember when we were dating, like my husband, you know, he's in sales, so he'll make a certain amount of money.
Yes. You said the word, you need. That ain't what women need. Women don't need. You need. Women don't need. This is Kendra's best friend.
Like, we made this much. I'm like, we? I was like, okay. Like, it was just a way that he said it. It was so thoughtful. Like,
right.
we weren't even we weren't husband and wife then. Like, our bank accounts aren't combined, but it was like what he made, it was for us, and it was just a thought. The way he thinks is like, we did this. He's just someone that is generous in that way, someone that is thoughtful. Sometimes we see how people treat others and we don't think they're going to treat us that way. And it's like, no, this is how this person is. Right. So if they're, with their siblings, if they have prior children, their family members, people on the street, like, how thoughtful is this person? Is this person kind? I think just those natural, like, human good deeds that you see being done, right? If they are doing it on a daily basis, they don't have to be asked to, they don't have to be reminded, they don't have to be taught how to, behave in a certain way. They're going to be good husbands.
Do you think a husband, the requirement,
when they're thoughtful, what she's saying is, if you're thoughtful and you put thought into other people beyond yourself, because normally a woman will think beyond herself and she will get involved and become less selfish, and so will he. But most men who think beyond themselves and think in terms of her and him together usually turn out to be pretty good husbands.
Should be like, we talked about 50-50 in the household, but the other thing I hear a lot is he has to make six figures. Like, he has to make 100K. So do you think that should be a requirement when a woman's looking for a husband?
No.
I don't like putting numbers on things, because listen, you say 100, then God gonna give you 100. Maybe God could have had somebody over here for 500, but you didn't say that. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you think it could be more?
I think it could be whatever you receive, what you put out into the world.
But okay, yes and no.
That's your problem, Black America. You don't know women.
That, because a lot of people put a lot of things out to the world and they might not receive it.
But not just verbally. You have to live it. You have to know it. You can say, I want $100,000 man, but your actions are not of somebody with $100,000 wants to date you or take you out or be with you forever.
Right.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah.
Right.
Are you? Yeah, I think that. Are you what the guy would? But this is why I will say this, because I'm with you when you say the woman's the prize. But I will say, if you're chasing the guy, then he's the prize. So if you're willing to compromise everything for this man because you want this man, then he's the prize. And I will say this: if you have a money requirement, and listen, there's nothing to. I'm not trying to change anybody's opinion, but I own a dating app. Okay, so I know the data. So if the money is important, if the look is important, just know, unfortunately, this guy, unless he's looking for that one-on-one factor that you have, and like I said, the one thing I've learned, when they're ready to have a family, they're looking for a wife to be the mother of their children. They do get a little bit more particular what type of woman they want to settle down with. That guy kind of became the prize because so many women want him.
Right.
And I think that even
rare.
when you kind of say
a weird thing, though,
the man still isn't the prize, and I agree with the man's not the prize. How do you resonate that when so many women want a certain guy?
So being sought after is like a fact, right? I am a highly sought after man. This man is saying that because of his DMs are blowing up or whatever. Okay, that's fine. But are you a prize? I feel like those are two different ways of looking at yourself.
That's true.
I can't lie that you're highly sought after. That happened. There's like your DMs are blowing up or whatever. But to say you're the prize, it just gives me this feeling of like, so now what does that mean for me when I'm your partner? I am less than you because you're the prize. Then what am I? I'm not the prize, right? Because there's a prize and then there's not the prize.
Right.
I don't think that's how marriage should work. That's why even, yes, obviously to the type of men that I look to and talk to and deal with, their wives are the prize because they feel so lucky because they know how their lives have changed for the better because their wife is in it.
See, I've never been on her app, so I don't know. But I heard her app is trash. Is her app trash? Or is it the people trash? Or is the app trash? That's the thing.
She's giving them children, or she's supporting them emotionally, taking care of the home. They are like, my life is better because she's in it. She is my prize. And obviously the woman's life is better because the husband is in it. I mean, we can both be the prize, I guess, but for the man simply to say, I'm the prize, you're basically telling me I'm not the prize before we even get going.
Right. And I think to piggyback on that, it's almost like you don't want to be with a man who feels like you're easily replaceable. Like, and you don't want to be with a man who, I don't want to lose my train of thought because it kind of ties, that you like more. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Right. I feel like it's a dangerous spot if you want the man more than he wants you, because that means you have to work the hardest for the relationship. And then there's going to be things that you may desire. And he's like, well, I'm the prize. You should be lucky that I'm here. Right. Like there are some men and they date like that. Like, listen, girlfriend, what you crying about? Like, I'm with you because Keisha wanted me, Kiana wanted me, and Tiffany wanted me, but I chose you. So put a smile on your face because I could be with those three women. And I would tell that girl, let him go be with those three women because you're never going to have peace of mind because anything he gives you, he's going to feel like you should just be happy and blessed and lucky because he's giving you his presence. And you don't want to date a man like that.
Absolutely.
No. At the end of the day, I don't think you're supposed to chase the man. The man is supposed to chase you. They're supposed to want to be with you. They're supposed to see other women and be like, ain't no way. My girl is finer. She badder. She got way more going for her. You know, I'm not even about to look over there. That's how he should feel about his woman. And if it's not that, then I don't want it.
Right. You know, one thing you always tell me in my single season, date more than one. You're like, you are big. And I was like, we got to talk about this because again, I share so much on my show and And I mean, it doesn't, listen, I'm a strong person. God made me for this, right? Because I'm a strong person, period.
Yes.
Right. And I will correct people on spots and all that. And on my journey in life, again, as I said earlier, Itika being my best friend, like she'll say things. I'm like, girl, you need to look at me like you look at Oprah. Like if you can't, if whatever you think Oprah could do, know your girl Kendra could do, just so we could be on the same page.
Period. Right. Listen, you got me. You gathered me, sis. You gathered
just so we
me.
Could be on the same
you gathered
page.
me.
But I talk about this because I got so much hell when I was on the Tamara Hall show and I said I had a roster, right? Because I was dating.
Oh, they were mad about that?
Girl, they had me out here like saying I'm letting men sleep with me. That wasn't even the case because I don't have sex unless we're in a relationship. That's just my own personal rule because I learned that mistake many years ago when I wasn't in a relationship and I was intimate. And what happened for me is I had relationship feelings and the guy was like, but we're not in a relationship, and I couldn't challenge it. And I was like, got that lesson. Don't got to repeat that class. Yeah. So if you're not my man, if we friends, we're going to be friends. And guess what? I don't sleep with friends. But, listen, I'm worldly, literally, right? Because of what I do. So of course I'm dating, but you have always been like, okay, you could like him, but who else are you dating?
Yes. Multiple, because you're single until you're in a relationship.
Okay. Right.
And when you're single, you should date multiple men.
I think the same way. You should date multiple men. You should date, that don't mean sleep with the men. That means date the men. So you should be dating multiple men. Okay? Because you're trying to find the person that's compatible with you. You're not trying to get into a relationship with or sleep with a whole bunch of guys. You just want to be involved with that one person and that one person only when you decide who you're going to deal with. And that's it. Date as many people as you like because that's the way you find who you want. That's the way you find what you want. Okay? If I just date this one person and that's it, but I'm attracted to a whole bunch of people or I have a whole bunch of suitors, I'm going to be trying to figure out what do I like more, and it might have something, it might be a worse outcome. There's no way you date, and you just date what you're supposed to be dating to find out what you like. Oh, it's advice for anybody. Anybody. It's not a matter of whether you're attractive or not. You can be unattractive, you can be attractive. You date whoever comes along, you date and try to figure out what you want. And dating doesn't mean sleep with. I don't know why you men think dating means sleeping with.
If you're a heterosexual woman, if you're not dating multiple women or...
No, I'm not. I've always said date multiple people.
You know how that works. I find that
that's a chance you all have to take. But I advise women to date as many people as possible. Well, it's not like everybody has 1,000 options. Nobody has 1,000 options. Most people may, if they're reasonably attractive, they may have 3 or 4 options. Date those 3 or 4 options. See who you like. Once you get to the point where you know which one you like more, then that's who you date. Stop dating the other 2 and date that one. That's it.
Are 1,000% dating multiple people. 1,000.
Oh, hell yeah. If I was on a date, oh, hell yeah. I'd date whoever I wanted to date until I ran into the guy that I wanted to actually date. And then that would be the person that I'd probably sleep with. But I wouldn't sleep with nobody until I found the one that I actually got exclusive with. So that's just me.
1,000%. There is not one man who's not in a relationship who is not dating more than one woman. So why are the rules different for women?
Right.
They shouldn't be different from women. They shouldn't be. People try to shame you into doing the same thing, but don't be shamed. All women, don't be shamed. You date who you want to date. That sleeping with someone is different from dating people. You can date however many people you want to date. That doesn't mean you have to sleep with them. That's all.
I mean, I'm not telling you to sleep with multiple men, and I'm not telling men to sleep with multiple women.
Right.
But if we're being honest.
Yes, they are. On the dating market, yes, they are. They're the same way. They're the same. We're equal.
We're just leveling the playing field.
Exactly. and the thing is, now I will say this, men date.
Different for me is that we didn't have options. We didn't have 1,000 options. We didn't have 1,000 options. We had options. We had plenty of options, but not like today. Not like I get distracted by all these dudes on Facebook. All these dudes are in my DM. I get distracted by these men in the DMs where I don't deal with the real people or the real men in front of me. Back when I was young, we didn't have the internet. So I didn't get distracted by 1,000 different men. I had to make the choice between the 5 or 6 men that I was dating. I had to make the choice between those men. I didn't have all these options. Oh, you want to fly me out? Oh, da, da, da. All these girls got fly me out, do X, Y, and Z. We don't have those options like that. No cell phone, no instant talking. No, nothing like that.
They different because men don't normally date with a money requirement. So that's where this tricks the women up, because the woman wants to be the person that you want to date a certain type of man. So that means you gotta have a roster of those level of men. Right. The reason why I tell women to date is because it keeps you cute. Because you got something to look forward to. It's going to make, like, whenever you're going outside, you should at least want to look cute, like get your hair done, get a new outfit. Like, you got a reason. And then also you're not in the house thinking about the one, because the one that you're thinking about, he's not in the house thinking about you, because if he was in the house thinking about you, he would be with you.
There is and I'm not going to remember it, but there's an analogy that someone told me when I was in my 20s, which was like, when I started, like, you have to date multiple men. Is if there is a chicken sits on one egg, it's likely that the egg will break. But if you have multiple eggs and the chicken sits on them, then all of those eggs will stay, right? So it's basically like you're not putting too much pressure on this one egg, on this one man. So you're just got, few, I don't know how many you want to have, but so that you're not putting too much pressure. So if this person doesn't text you back, if this person doesn't call you back, you're not spewing, you're not spinning, you're not driving his house, see if his car's in the driveway. Been there, done that.
You're on a journey, girl. It's been a journey.
You're focusing on, then this other person texts you and you're like, oh, okay. And you're distracted. I think it helps. It helps.
No, I think it definitely helps, because then, and you brought up texting, and that was gonna be one of my questions. I think the biggest thing is you don't care too much, right? So like, if he really wants you, he's gonna rise to the occasion.
The cream rises to the top.
Yes.
And that happens. You'll see that, oh, I'm dating a few guys, and this person texts me every morning, asks me how my day is, and is consistent. This person can go days without texting me, and when he does, he don't even have no plans going on. And then this person, I have to always text first. So you're going to see what's happening, and then the cream will rise to the top.
You know what? I think I can share this story. I'm thinking, like, can I share this story? Because when you and BG started dating, I think you were dating.
Yes.
But BG was very clear.
He was on it. He was on it.
Yes, he was very clear.
I mean, he was on it. And it was nice. I was like, where he over here? Focus. Okay. Then it got me more focused. I was like, let's see what's going on over here. And here we are.
Yeah. So he was definitely about you. He was like, I think obviously he knew you were dating, but he was like, nah.
Well, that's the thing. When a person is focused and they know what they want, then they go right ahead. Her husband was focused on her, and he just kept this focus on her. This is the one I want. And see, men these days want to play the little game of, I want to be playing hard to get. I don't want her to know that I fell for her. I don't want her to know that I care about her. So let me try to play the game of player and this, that, and the third. And a lot of men lose, a lot of people lose a person, or they lose the spectacularness through the relationship because they want to play those little games. You don't want to play those games. With me and my husband, I met him, he came into the bar with his buddy from his work. And from that moment on, from that day, I knew him for 30 odd years. From that day, from the day I met him, because he was focused on me from that day. I never had to try to figure out whether I was the one. I never had to try to figure out where is he at, why he ain't paying attention. I never had to do that. He never wavered from where he was. I mean, he wasn't a person that talked a lot or did a lot of overt emotional thing. But once he told me, X, Y, and Z, and once I knew that I was the one, because I knew pretty quick. We knew pretty quick. It was what it was. When somebody focuses on you, when they focus on you, and when they want your attention, when you want to be over there, and then act accordingly. These days, people want to play a game. They don't want to get hurt. What the fuck is wrong with what the fuck is wrong with getting hurt if it garners you the reward that you want?
Like, she mine.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
And look, and you really are his. Like, you have a whole family and a marriage together. But that was very early on dating. And this is why, again, I don't think, because some women will say, oh, well, dating so much, the guy's going to think and there is a component to this, because like there are some women who are dating and they have because like, listen, we're talking for advice for women who want to be wives, but there are some women out here that are using men, and I don't condone that either. Like, I don't condone the girl that is playing with the guy's feelings and she just got a roster of men, and
that's a different episode. That ain't today's episode.
So I don't want men, because men do watch this podcast too. I don't want men to think that I'm for women using men and she has no long-term intentions.
Your intentions should always be pure, and you should be honest. Right. If a man can't handle it, then but you should be honest. Like, I'm seeing other people if he asks,
right.
And it should be fine unless you're in a committed relationship. And then he might say, I really don't want you to see nobody else. I want it just to be me and you. And then you're like, okay, if it works.
What do you think about social media? Going back to social media, sharing your relationship. Do you think it's a red flag if a guy is like, you can't post me, you can't tag me? Like, you could be in this whole relationship and then he never shares you on social media. Is that a thing?
I definitely think it's a red flag. Yes. And I think it's a red flag because of what I've experienced and what I've seen.
Okay.
So I've seen, I've dated people that were like, don't post me. And I'm like, and then lo and behold, it's because there's, other people out there and they don't want to see, that they're with you or with me at the time.
Right.
I've seen husbands never post their wives and cut to, so It's like, I don't know how. Everybody is different. So it's up to you how you want to do it. But just a hard no, you can't post me is a red flag in my opinion.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, and like your husband's page is like you. like I feel like BG, and then this is what I love about BG. Sometimes it's just him, but he tags her. So it's literally a picture of BG walking, and Itika's tagged in it. It's like Itika not even in the video.
We almost done with this topic.
I'm like, Itika's not even in the video, BG. So you do think? I think. See, and this is where two things could be true. Right. Me as a public figure, I don't think I'll ever share another relationship on social media, only because
I could have sworn I saw her relationship with him and he was drunk or something to that effect. It was her birthday party or something, and he had a cake and he was like real shaky with the cake. So I was like, is that your relationship? And this is Kendra's relationship. Come to find out he was a scammer or something like that. Yeah.
It's different when you got 2 million people in your relationship, right?
Yes.
So more so for that. And I have a whole personal life that people do not know what's going on. And it'd be crazy to me because they be talking about me, child. I'm like, yeah, I don't even know what's happening in my life right now, but I like it that way. I think that it gives me the opportunity to really get to know the people that I'm dating without sharing. So for me, I think I'm the opposite. I don't know how I'm gonna feel like, let's say I get into something where I feel like it could be social media worthy. If I would even still like, we 100% in it. There ain't no funny business. I gotta see how I'm gonna be in that space. Cause I would say right now, for me, it would probably still be a no, only because I'm a public figure.
I definitely understand that. And I feel like if you're a public figure and your partner and you're honest with your partner and you're like, look, this is why I don't want to post, I definitely think they should understand that.
Right.
So the rules are different.
No, because even in dating, I have men that sometimes will want to post and I'll be like, absolutely not. And I get turned off.
Yeah.
Like I get turned off immediately because I'm like, why you want to post me? Like we could have this whole dinner and have our conversation, and that would be that. And then I have literally in this, dating period of my life have stopped talking to men because I felt like they wanted to post too fast. So that just makes me seem like, are you just trying to be with me because
I mean,
you're trying
it's
to
an
get the
etiquette
followers
to
up?
it.
Yeah.
It's an etiquette to it, especially when you're dating. I mean, relationship, it's a red flag if you're not allowed to post your partner. Then you're supposed to be in a committed.
If you single and you don't know how to cook, and you're 30, and you don't have a boyfriend, you got time to figure it out. I'd find it a little weird, but not necessarily a deal breaker, because there's plenty of people that don't know how to cook. They know how to order a mean takeout though.
The relationship, but dating, I definitely think posting should be agreed upon by both parties.
Right. But I would say I'm very unique in the manner that I'm giving, but overall I agree with you. I agree that if your partner is trying to wants you to hide him from the world, there's a reason.
Yes.
Right.
There's definitely a reason larger than that. And I agree with you. Okay. Right. Let's talk about sex. Okay. How do you feel about sex when you're just dating? Should a woman wait till a committed relationship?
Listen.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed advice from a wife. Atika will be back.
I'm sure we will be back. What does it mean to have sex, X, Y, and Z? It is what it is, but marriage is a good thing if you find yourself wanting to get married, find yourself a partner. It's very difficult. It's difficult to find partners out here, according to people. I don't understand why it's so difficult to find somebody, because dating is not that difficult. You just start dating. That's all you need to do. You're not trying to see. The problem is people got these expectations. They immediately have these expectations of people instead of trying to just find a person that they're compatible with. You date as many people as possible. Date as many people as possible. And then you find out what you like to date. You have to know what you like before you get out there and date people. You have to know the type of person that you can live with. You have to know the type of person that you can talk to. You have to know the type of person who knows how to solve problems, or who can deal with conflict resolution compared to other people. Because some people just bring drama. A lot of people bring drama, and then, it is what it is. I'm not a drama person. The minute I sense that you bring drama, or you bring unnecessary strife, like I got to argue with you all the time, or I got to figure out where you at all the time, or I got to do those kind of things, I'm outie. I don't even engage. Even when I was younger, before I got married and was married for a long time, and even after I wasn't married, after Fee passed and I dated then, I still didn't put up with the nonsense, because I don't have patience at all for people who don't know themselves. And it's a good thing when people know themselves, know how to solve conflict, know how to communicate with a person, understands that you just cannot say anything that you want to say. People think it's difficult to find romance out here. It's not difficult. It's just that sometimes you got to tweak your standards, boundaries, and expectations. People have standards, boundaries, and expectations. Sometimes your standards, boundaries, and expectations go way beyond what you're supposed to be looking at. I don't know. Some certain things are just, you got to figure it out. But I know it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult if you're a reasonably attractive person. You're a reasonable person that knows how to talk to people, willing to seek advice from people. It's not that difficult. People make it difficult because they're trying to hone in on specific things. Just be a good person. Find a good person, and then work from being a good person. Date as many people as you can. See as many people as you can. I'm just saying. So that ends our Kendra G show, our review of the Kendra G relationship with her best friend. It's a beautiful thing if you can do things with your best friend. But Kendra G is chronically single because she is too big for her britches and she doesn't listen to her own advice. And she's such a know-it-all and she feels as though she cannot get married because she makes X, Y, and Z. Then maybe you need to be in a different pool of men. I don't know. It is what it is. You all, hopefully you hit the like, the share, the subscribe button. This was an impromptu Kendra G review. I love Kendra G, and I will be reviewing more things beyond Kendra G. Mostly political, which is what I like. But please hit the like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate